There's a new abortion battle forming. The Republican Party is just, doing everything they can. I mean, this is wild. And in some ways, they're at war with themselves. There's kind of two simultaneous things going on right now that I wanted to tell you about. The first is that, which has been reported over at levernews.com, is that anti-abortion activists are trying to get the Supreme Court in phase 2 of the Dobbs decision. They're trying to get the court to amplify the Dobbs decision in this session this fall and basically outlaw not only all abortion, but all birth control that could be even remotely construed as abortion, which would include things like IUDs, which prevent implantation in the uterus, Plan B, many kinds, and maybe even all hormonal birth control, because there are, fanatics within the anti-abortion movement who claim that birth control is a form of abortion, et cetera. And they're trying to do this by going to the Supreme Court and saying that fetuses and zygotes and at all stages of development should have, and fertilized eggs, should have legal protection as persons. And once that happens, and this is the old personhood thing that Republicans were trying to legislate. They're trying to get the Supreme Court to do this. And once that happens, we will have among the most restrictive abortion laws in the world, if that happens. I mean, it would be a national ban on abortion. And this group out of, where are they based? Hang on just a second here. It's a group of anti-abortion activists out of Rhode Island, and they've just filed a petition with the Supreme Court. They only need 4 judges to say, yeah, okay, we'll check this thing out. They're relying heavily on Beer Bong Brett. Probably Handmaid Amy will help out, and we'll see. 14 states have already banned abortion altogether, but this would be a major change in abortion law in the United States, because it would apply to the entire country. Meanwhile, over in the Senate, Lindsey Graham has just proposed a 15-week ban on abortion. Now, keep in mind, a fetus is not viable until 20 to 24 weeks of pregnancy. It can't survive outside of mom until that stage. But Lindsey Graham, and in fact, 15, 16, 17 weeks, these are when development of a fetus reaches the point where you can start to see things on a sonogram like, that baby doesn't have a brain, or there's some fatal birth defect. I mean, these things don't show up, things that would cause it not to be able to survive after it's born. These things, that are the sole exception that occasionally provokes what is sometimes referred to as a late-term abortion. These things don't even show up typically until 16, 17, 18 weeks on a sonogram. And Lindsey Graham wants a 15-week ban on abortion nationwide. He thinks this is, the old Solomonic, let's split the baby in half thing. And, and I think it's just the Republicans trying to, in some feeble way, recover the high ground on this. And, is it going to work? I don't know. I'm extremely skeptical. And, fetal personhood, the thing that concerns me the most, frankly, is this thing going before the Supreme Court. Because this Supreme Court is out of control. I mean, I don't care how often John Roberts goes and gives speeches saying, they shouldn't impugn the legitimacy of the court just because they don't like the decisions. This court is illegitimate. They're not just filled with whack jobs. They're filled with whack jobs through a process that is illegitimate. Mitch McConnell blocking Merrick Garland for a year and then jamming Amy Coney Barrett through, violating his own so-called Biden rule, which he just made up out of thin air and slapped Joe Biden's name on it for reasons still, incoherent. But this is a big deal, and I'm just flagging this for you. Keep up with it. Jessica Valenti in her All in Her Head newsletter over on Substack. She's doing this abortion every day, one of the more recent ones. Distressing news out of South Carolina, where debate began yesterday on a near total abortion ban with narrow exceptions for rape and incest. Senate committee voted to advance a new version that removed the rape and incest exception altogether. And then she shows a picture of the committee, and every single person on the committee is a white man. We're still waiting for news from Michigan's Supreme Court on this proposed amendment to protect abortion rights on the November ballot. Actually, they just ruled on that. This is from a couple of days ago. They just ruled on that. And that ban, proposed ban, or putting the right to abortion in the Constitution, more correctly, will be on the Michigan ballot this fall. That's going to be interesting. The Texas Supreme Court just ruled that minors will still be allowed to get a judicial bypass without parental consent, but they need to follow the state's ban. So there's, which has no rape or incest exceptions and only allows the end of a pregnancy if a woman's life is in danger. So if a minor needs an abortion, they're going to have to go see a judge, and good luck with that. And in Ohio, a maternal fetal medicine specialist has given an interview. Dr. Tani Malhotra told the Ohio Central Journal that seeing patients forced to carry pregnancies with fetuses that lack organs necessary for survival, and women who have partially delivered fetuses too early in pregnancy to survive, and how these women are mandated to sign paperwork and wait 24 hours until the fetus's heart stops before being allowed care, even with the fetus partially out. I mean, this is just disgusting stuff. Obgyns in Florida are worried about the same thing as our doctors in Tennessee. Obgyns are leaving both states or choosing not to be trained in this practice. New doctors choosing not to be trained. Republican gubernatorial candidates in Wisconsin, Tim Michels, gave $250,000 to an anti-LGBT, anti-abortion group. Michels also donated $20,000 to a group that tracks women's cell phone data, to see if they have been near an abortion clinic. Honest to God, there's now groups that are receiving big funding from, in this case, the Republican governor of Wisconsin, who are tracking women's cell phones to see if they travel near an abortion clinic, so they can then target these women. Minnesota's Republican gubernatorial candidate has been working overtime to try to convince people he's not anti-abortion. His name is Scott Jensen. He went from saying that he only supports abortion to save a pregnant person's life to then claiming that he'd be okay with rape and incest exceptions. Now he's out with a truly bizarre ad where he holds a baby, saying abortion is a protected right that he has no interest in legislating. Right. Also, another Republican in North Carolina has quietly scrubbed his website of all of his anti-abortion rants. This is Bo Hines. He's running for Congress. He said earlier that abortion is absolutely murder, and any politician who's not willing to say so should not be in office. But then after the Dobbs decision, he took all that language off his campaign website. And in Maine, where abortion is still legal, Democrats are targeting former Republican Governor Paul LePage, who is running for office again. LePage has said he wouldn't try to reverse the right to abortion in the state, but he recently completed a questionnaire for a conservative state group where he said that he supports abortion restrictions. So lots of weirdness going on the abortion front. We'll keep you up to date on that. We'll get Jessica back on the show for the latest updates. It's coming up on 15 minutes past the hour here on the Thom Hartmann Program. Stick around. We'll be back with, I want to get into the feds going after the fake electors. Is this how they're going to bring down Trump? I mean, there's many possible ways to do it. The guy has committed so many crimes. What is it going to be? We'll talk about that after the break, and I'll pick up your phone calls, so stick around.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
15 minutes past the hour. We'll be right back.